Hi, what happens when your largest trading partner suddenly turns hostile? In 2025, India found out the hard way. Today, I'm going to talk about Trump tariffs and India's trade crisis. The United States slapped a 50% tariff on Indian goods, one of the highest imposed on any country in the world. Billions of dollars in exports were at risk. Hundreds of thousands of jobs hung in the balance. The crisis began in April 2025 with a 25% reciprocal tariff on Indian goods. By August 2025, an additional 25% punitive tariffs were layered on top, bringing the total to a staggering 50%, triggered by India's continued purchase of Russian oil, which Washington viewed as indirectly funding the war in Ukraine. The Indian government estimated the tariffs would directly impact 48.2 billion worth of exports, nearly half of India's entire export base to the United States. Think tanks like GTRI projected Indian exports to the US could collapse from $86 billion to around $50 billion in 2026. The sectors hardest hit textile, tea, and apparel, which rely on the US for 35% or more of their global export share. This wasn't just number on a spreadsheet. The gem and jewelry industry alone faced the prospect of 175,000 workers being affected. UBS estimated $8 billion in exports were just immediately vulnerable. Gems, jewelry, apparel, textile, and chemical. Why did this happen? Three reasons for it. First, India's energy dependence on Russia. India was importing roughly 1.5 million barrels of Russian oil per day, Russian crude making up over a third of India's total oil imports. Washington saw this as India profiting from a refuse to condemn. Second, India's high import barrier. The reciprocal tariff logic was if India taxes US goods heavily, the US will do the same. By February 2026, a deal was struck. The US slashed the reciprocal tariffs from 25% to 18% and removed the additional 25% punitive duty entirely, bringing the effective rate on most of the Indian goods down to 18% from 50%. But the concession India made was significant. India agreed to move towards zero tariffs on US goods, halt Russian crude oil purchases, shift sourcing to the US, and commit to major future purchases of American energy, technology, and products. So, what should India do structurally to ensure this never happens again? Measure 1: Export market diversification. India cannot afford to have 29% of its textile export going to a single country. India must fast track trade deals with the EU, Latin America, GCC nations, and ASEAN to build a resilient multi market export ecosystem. Measure 2: Energy security reform. India needs a credible roadmap to reduce fossil fuel import dependency through renewables, domestic production, and diversified sourcing. So, no single supplier nation can be weaponizing against us diplomatically. Measure 3: Align product standard globally. Aligning Indian product standards with global benchmark eases market entry and builds trust with international buyers, reducing vulnerability to non-tariff barriers. Measure 4: Leveraging the China plus one opportunity. Now, the global supply chain shift away from China, accelerated by tariff alignment, gives India a strategic window in textile, garment, footwears, electronic. We must act with urgency, not complacency. The Trump tariff crisis was a wake up call. It exposed India's export concentration risk, its energy vulnerability, and the cost of reactive rather than proactive trade diplomacy. The question for Viksit Bharat 2047 is this: will we build a trade architecture that is diversified, self reliant, and strategically proof? Or will we keep reacting to crises one tariff shock at a time? The choice is ours. Thank you.